Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the All Star Wrestling review for April 5th, 1980. Loving the run through the 80s here, or the 70s into early 80s. Much better than current day wrestling by far. And anyone who thinks differently, I honestly think you should get your head checked just because wrestling should look like a fight, and then when it doesn't look like a fight, it looks goofy. Anyway, Wild Samoans with Captain Lou Albano defeat Rene Goulet and Frank Williams. 8:27 when Alpha pinned William with a Samoan drop. Alpha and Sika are the Wild Samoans. They are the beginning to and the, um, I guess, 1A generation behind Peter Maivia to the dynasty that produced The Rock, Roman Reigns, and all points in between. Obviously, a guy like Rene Goulet and others, and again, the Samoans really kind of brawling. Captain Lou Albano is with the Samoans, and he is pretty sure that they are going to be tag team champions. Albano tries to take a couple of cheap shots away, and that is to be expected. He is, of course, Captain Lou. Alpha and Sika, Sika the larger, doing a lot of punch kick. Also, playing towards the headbutts and other striking related maneuvers because that's what they do. Hard shots along the way, and we see the nature of hard punch kick basic stuff and ultimately tie in there. Hard shots again. Sika managing a punch kick mentality and ultimately hitting a couple shots under the chin, and Albano is super happy with his team winning. Then we move to another match in the lexicon of things here. This is the jumping of Pat Patterson, your Intercontinental Champion. Patterson, of course, Intercontinental Champion for several months, the first champion of the sort. Facing off against Johnny Ross, 623. And after the bout, Bruno Sammartino interviews Patterson at ringside about being a babyface and kind of having tendencies towards that whole babyface thing. The idea that he, meaning Patterson, is able to or willing to or whatever be a guy who is pursued by the ladies. At least that's what's presented here, even though obviously with him having a life partner that is homosexual doesn't make sense, but Patterson feeling that he has to pursue it that way. Roz, though, managing to brawl with Patterson on the outside. By this point, Patterson had broken away from the Wizard and continues to beat down on whomever is in front of him. Good fire by Patterson, worth checking out. That a punch kick style can get a crowd reaction if you do it right and your strikes look strong. Also, the crowd solidly behind Patterson because he has turned his back on the Wizard and is a secondary champion. Of course, the Intercontinental Champion probably gained prestige, probably more towards the, I don't know, 2 or 3 years down the road after existing. So it's still being built here as a championship, but, attempted chin lock and choke out by Patterson. Patterson does get the victory, as we mentioned before. Ken Patera up next. Patera obviously is the man that defeats Patterson for that Intercontinental Championship, and this is one of the more competitive matches for Patera at the time frame. And this is Ken Patera with the Grand Wizard defeating Tito Santana via countout 8:21 after Patera rammed Santana's head into the ring post. Both men are on the floor and re-entered the ring just before the 10 count. Patera getting the countout victory over tag team champion. Kind of a premonition of things to come with him becoming a champion in the singles ranks eventually. But anyhow, as we continue to run that forward, and as we continue to be mindful of all that exists there, it's just kind of interesting that Ken Patera is a guy who, from a current historic significance level, probably undervalued, one would assume, or at least look at, and could say that. But Santana, obviously, still well regarded even today. Patera takes him down, and they work over each other. Patera taking the power advantage. Santana with the torque on a head scissors into an armbar and basic maneuvers. Lots of back and forth. Lots of just assertion of holds that actually the quality of the hold matters. And I think that gets lost in today's wrestling by far. Patera comes back up. Cheap shot with a kick under the chin to Santana. Patera uses power with some body slams and other basic maneuvers. Obviously, even launching Santana across, taking a little bit of cockiness into account as well. Lots of posing, and then we see Patera with a bear hug. Santana finally does get out. Tries the crossbody, doesn't get all he wants on it. Near fall, but Patera with the foot on the bottom rope. Patera and Santana go to the outside, and eventually Patera rolls back in at the final moment, giving him the advantage and the win. Pretty big upset for the time. We move to another match. Larry Sharp is your main combatant here. Sharp is moving towards a pin on Paul Figueroa, 153, with a pile driver after the bout. Vince and Bruno Sammartino interview. Tony Altamore with a prognosis report on Bambino Larson from last week, and he had suffered 2 fractured ribs because of Toru Kamara, and I mean that's pretty strong at the time for a guy to be given that prognosis of fractured ribs. And anyhow, so punch kick and cheating by Larry Sharp. Sharp manages to again get the pile driver. Pile driver, not a banned hold in the New York area, although it is banned at other places in the country. I've always found that interesting that certain holds are banned certain places. Anyway, Larry Zbyszko defeats Mark Pole, 304. Bruno Sammartino refuses to commentate on the issues between himself and Larry Zbyszko during that, and Larry is none too happy with the quality of competition that he receives here in this time frame. So, Larry Zbyszko, lots of punch kick, lots of basic stuff. Nothing necessarily to write home about. A little bit more aggressive than normal, obviously having the heel tendency now. Also, we come to see him doing the stalling that he'd be known for in the AWA as well as the WCW 1990 to 1992, early 93 run. Anyway, Zbyszko gets the win with some underhanded stuff, nothing necessarily to write home about. The Bruno feud still builds to the summer, and we will be back right after this.